Greetings, my scattered brothers and sisters in the Lord. Trust you know the Lord is with you today, wherever you find yourself scattered, and you know that His presence with you is more than enough for whatever you might face today. We are right smack in the middle of the Gospel of Mark, middle of chapter 8, and I got to be honest with you, it looks to me like Jesus is running out of patience. He had left the region where the Jews live and going up to Tyre and Sidon, and there he was met by the mom of the girl who was demon-possessed, and she had faith in Jesus. And Jesus responded and healed her daughter. And then he returns, but he's still kind of in a Gentile territory, the Decapolis, and some people bring to him a man who can't hear and has trouble speaking. And Jesus prays over him, puts his fingers in the man's ears, and tells the man to, for the ears to be open. And the man is healed, and he hears, and now he speaks well. And again, this is in Gentile territory. And then we have the feeding of the 4,000 in Gentile territory. And then Jesus returns to Jewish territory, and the Pharisees show up, and they want a sign from Jesus. And they refuse to believe, they refuse to accept who Jesus is, and Jesus just sighs over them. And now he gets in the boat and he's leaving the Pharisees, and he has his disciples with him. And see what happens here. We pick it up at verse 14, chapter 8. The disciples had forgotten to bring bread, except for one loaf they had with them in the boat. Be careful, Jesus warned them. Watch out for the yeast of the Pharisees and that of Herod. Now, when Jesus says to watch out for the yeast of the Pharisees and that of Herod, he's saying watch out for their unbelief. Don't let their unbelief contaminate you so that you become an unbeliever, so that you reject the authority of Jesus. Excuse me. So don't let their unbelief contaminate you to where you begin to lose faith and reject Jesus and kind of live unto your own authority rather than recognize the authority of Jesus. So Jesus is warning them about this. Their response is, verse 16, they discussed this with one another and said, "It is because we have no bread." Aware of their discussion, Jesus asked them, "Why are you talking about having no bread? Do you still not see or understand? Are your hearts hardened? Do you have eyes but fail to see and ears but fail to hear? And don't you remember when I broke the 5 loaves for the 5,000? How many baskets full of pieces did you pick up?" 12, they replied. "And when I broke the 7 loaves for the 4,000, how many basketfuls of pieces did you pick up?" They answered, 7. Jesus said to them, "Do you still not understand?" Wow. I mean, here we are, right smack in the middle of the gospel. These are the guys that have been traveling with Jesus from the beginning of his ministry that he called, and they still don't understand. They still don't get it. And so in this section, we've seen Jesus sigh over the Pharisees and their refusal to believe, their refusal to accept him. And now Jesus' very own disciples, they still don't get it. They're worried that they don't have enough bread. And they fed the 5,000, they fed the 4,000, and Jesus is like he's had it. Do you still not get it? Do you still not see? Do you still not understand? I'm telling you, I think Jesus is about to run out of patience. Well, a couple things. Number one, how often do we about run out of patience? Maybe we're trying to help people, maybe we're trying to work with people, and it just seems like they ought to be getting it and they're not getting it, and we start to run out of patience. Well, good news. Jesus has been right there where you're at. And what I notice is that Jesus stays with these 12. That Jesus doesn't, kind of put them up on the trading block as if they were a team and it's time to rebuild. This team will never be productive. No, he stays with these guys. He doesn't throw them out of the boat. He doesn't land the boat and go call 12 other disciples to replace them. Jesus is running out of patience, but he doesn't abandon them. He doesn't give up on them. He doesn't quit them. He calls them out on it, that they ought to be seeing more and hearing more and getting more than what they're getting. But he doesn't abandon them. He doesn't get rid of them. So maybe we need to learn something from that. Well, probably even more than simply the people we run out of patience with. Maybe we're the ones that Jesus runs out of patience with. Maybe we're the ones that are kind of trying to Jesus. And Jesus is kind of talking to us here like, do you still not see? Do you still not hear? Do you still not get it? You've been with me all this time and you're worried about bread? Good news. Jesus doesn't abandon us. Jesus doesn't put us on the trading block to get rid of us and find someone else. We may be testing Jesus' patience, but Jesus never gets rid of us. He keeps trying to work with us, keeps trying to teach us so that we actually end up getting it. We recognize who he is, we recognize his authority, and we follow him. So wherever you find yourself scattered today, maybe you're the one in need of patience. Well, Jesus knows how to persevere with people. And so he can give you the strength to persevere. But the best news of all, Jesus perseveres with people. And that means he perseveres with us, even when we're pretty slow to get it. God bless. Have a great day and rejoice that Jesus perseveres with us.